Good morning. Happy Friday, and welcome to another morning business talk with myself, Satara Brown. If you are just now joining for the first time, welcome, 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 and thank you for investing in yourself. A little bit about me. I am a entrepreneur. I am a business consultant. I have been an entrepreneur for the last 11 years, and it's really important for me to share business tips, my journey, so that you don't have to go through all of what I've been through. I like to say that I made so many mistakes so that you don't have to. I am just sharing this to my community. So bear with me a second. Um, it's funny because today's topic is just getting started, right? And I could have made every excuse in the world today as to why this live wasn't going to happen. But sometimes you have to just get started, right? We might not start exactly at 6:30 on the dot, but we're gonna get started, right? And that's what's important. And so I really want to speak to that, right? Um, Let me just, obviously, I can't do two things at once. So let me just send this. And again, we don't live in a perfect world. If things were perfect, I would have had all of this together the night before, and I would have had it posted, right? But I didn't even know what I wanted to talk about, and I just felt it on my heart to talk about just getting started because I think that we look at other people's businesses and we compare ourselves so much online. Growing up in the 90s, we didn't have social media. Social media wasn't a thing. So it was little less, or extremely less, ways to like compare yourself is on now. Okay. In terms of comparing yourself to other people, like, because at the end of the day, all you had was yourself. Once the day was over, right? So I think that really discourages people from getting started. And I'm going to share this so that you can understand a little bit more how um, someone can look like they have everything together, but you don't know what's going on really in their back end, right? And like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 11 years. Um, I've had my brand, the Girl Boss brand, for the last 6 years. I've had merch since this. Yesterday, I spoke about how I'm launching a campaign. I never had a campaign before. It's for merch that I'm dropping. The merch are shorts. It's August 14th. Like, we only have but so much of summer left, but we're gonna make it work, right? Um, and then I had to think to myself, and I was like, why am I go I've had these shorts. I physically had them for the last 2 months since the beginning of June. Of course, they had to go into production and things of that sort. Why am I going to wait any longer for a campaign? Why? I never did campaigns before, and I've made $50,000 off of merch. Why do I need to wait for a campaign to get started? So I went and I just made a video of me opening the package of all of the shorts, showing the different colors. I wasn't talking, the video was less than a minute long, and I was just picking up the shorts and putting them, organizing them a little bit. From that, I posted that video. The only thing I put was the eyes. I didn't use any hashtags or anything. And someone messaged me and was like, I need those. Um, And that's the power of getting started, right? A lot of times we feel like we need to have all of our ducks in a row, right? Excuse me. Ugh, sorry. We need to have everything together in order to get started. Excuse me. We need to have everything together in order to get started. And that is not always the case. What we have is enough. In an ideal world, we would love to have everyone would love to have an assistant. Everyone would love to have this whole fully built out department. But we're not always there yet. And it's okay to dream, it's okay to aspire, but we have to use the materials that we have, right? So, for instance, I always got something by me. If you want to sell cups, if you want to sell cups, and let's say you still work your 9 to 5, or maybe you don't want to just sell cups, you want to sell merch, right? You want cups, tumblers, you want mugs, you want journals, but you're working with limited funds, right? Because life is expensive, you have responsibilities. How can you achieve your goal? So let's say you have, and you saved up, right? You have $500 to spend. Maybe instead of sourcing it online, finding a manufacturer, maybe you start with a lower quantity of tumblers. We're just starting with tumblers, right? The goal is to get to this, to this. I actually made this myself. to this, and to this, right? The goal is to get to all three, and we really want it to be a bundle and this, and that. No. Start with what we have. So we're going to take our $500, right? We're going to buy a pack of these. Whether that pack is a pack of 10, whether that pack is a pack of 20, whether that's a pack of 24, we are going to buy one pack. One. We don't need to be fully stocked. We don't need to have all this inventory. We're going to buy one pack, right? And now we're going to figure out how we are going to get our design on this cup. And right now, we might have to do it ourselves. That's fine. Like I said, I made this myself. And I'm going to tell you a story in a minute, but I made this myself. And I think this looks really good. I've sold these. This is my last one. So now we're going to do some research, right? And we're going to get on Google or ChatGPT nowadays. And we're going to buy a Cricut, right? We're going to buy a Cricut Joy Extra because I think that's like $119, right? A pack of cups. These cups on Amazon are, I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember the quantity and how much they are, but say if it's like a pack of 12, it's $24, right? So now we're at like 125 of the $100 budget. Let me write this down because I'm not good with math. All right, budget is 500. 125 for cups and Cricut. All right, so now you're gonna have to buy some materials for the Cricut. And what a Cricut is the machine that you can cut out these things, right? And you might be saying to yourself, I don't want to have to do all that. I just want to, no. We're working with what we have and we're just getting started, period. That's it. So the Cricut will give you what you need to create this, and it will give you what you need for, well, then you have to buy the extra pieces like the vinyl. So that's the next thing, right? Vinyl is like $8, right? You're probably only going to need one roll. So we're going to do $8. We're at $133. $500 is our budget. You know what? I shouldn't even have said that 500 is our budget. Our budget is really 200 because we're being honest with ourselves, right? 200. So we're at 200 of the 133. Let me get my facts straight over here. What else do you need? You need some type of bag to, if you're like hand delivering stuff, you need a box if you're shipping, right? Or like, yeah, you need a box. I was gonna say like one of those bubble wrap things. For this, you would definitely want a box. It's funny because I have boxes back here, and I have merch in there. So let's say you spend another $30 on boxes, right? Boxes and bags and any kind of packaging, right? Now we're at $163. That's it. That's all. Now we get started, right? Oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, this, and this, and that. Let me tell you something. I made this. This looks just like this. I bought this. I made this. I bought this. And now I'm going to tell you my story really quick. I spent $400 on 50 cups. I thought it was a great price. And they were mugs. They were mugs like this, but they were a different shape. And it had my logo on it, right? They were gifts for a brunch that I was doing for women. And the quality was terrible. Me, I pride myself on having good quality things, right? So this is embroidered, but yesterday I had a shirt that was, I don't know if it's called screen print or whatever it is. But my goal is that if this was screen printed or whatever else it could be, not embroidered, I don't want logos that fade, right? You know when you like buy something and then you wash it one time and it's like, oh, that's real dingy. Or, oh, those letters are going away magically. I don't want that ever, 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 because if people are spending their money, they need to have good quality and it needs to be worth it. I have merch, which I was wearing. If you look at the video from yesterday, I have merch that I've had for the last 6 years and there's been no fading, no anything, right? So for me, the quality is important. And I paid this vendor to do my cups. I supplied the logo and the logo was blurry. Oh, I think I have the cup right here. I'm not going to go get it because you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's blurry, but in person you could see that it's blurry. And I'm like, thankfully I'm giving these away, but even still, so like it wasn't something that I was proud of. And I was like, I would have never been able to sell these, right? And also I got like magnets to put on your refrigerator, and the quality was just really, really poor. So that led me to buying my Cricut, learning how to do this, right? It is a bit of a learning curve, but the reward is so worth it because you get the quality, you're able to make it at your own demand, and you get exactly what you want and what represents your brand. So all of that was done for $163. You go and get a Shopify account, right? Simple. You don't need no website designer, anything like that. So now you're going to set yourself up so that you can, one, accept payments, and two, you can ship, right? The shipping costs the customer is responsible for. So you're not spending any more money. The Shopify, I believe they give you like a month free. So we're not worrying about that $42 that they charge you, right? We're still at the 163, right? And that's it. And that's all, right? So instead of waiting to find a manufacturer, instead of waiting, oh, I got to get my stuff overseas from Alibaba or from China. No, 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 no. We're going to start with a small quantity and we are going to just get started, period. We have to start somewhere. And a lot of times we feel like, oh, we have this big grand vision and ideas, and this is how it's going to be. But you have to understand that in order to get to that big vision, that, that having that big inventory in that warehouse, you have to start somewhere. It starts with 1 cup. It literally starts with 1 cup. And that could sound cliche, it could sound cheesy. But let me tell you something. I started with a couple $25 shirts, right? So I went online, I bought shirts. I don't even know how many, like, I think it was like 20 shirts, right? And then I found, no, I didn't even find somewhere to get them screen printed. My cousin, he did them for me. And I paid him to do it. And that was it. I had a 20 pack and then I did my profit margin. You have to know how much did it cost, and we did that together, right? How much did it cost to purchase these? How much did it cost to purchase the vinyl that goes on it? This go around, we are talking about the Cricut cost, but that wouldn't go into the actual, that's a machinery piece that you need overall for production. How much did you pay for packaging and things of that sort, right? So you add that number up or put it into chat and you add that number up and then ask what price point you should sell it at, right? I like to have a 60% profit margin. That can sound absolutely crazy to people. But I like to buy low and sell not high, but at an amount that will give me a 60% profit margin. Like I said, my sweatshirts, my crew necks were $35. My t-shirts were $25 and I made $50,000 selling those. I do want to increase my prices and we'll talk about that more another episode another day, because listen, we are locking in for 30 days. This is already day 3. So if this is your first video that you have stumbled across, go back and watch the first 2. We are locking in for 30 days because, and what goes hand in hand, and in addition to just getting started, it's being consistent in the discipline, right? I was like, you know what? I have on my heart to go live on YouTube for 30 days. And then I just thought it out a little bit, right? And I didn't want to get too crazy, but I was like, I go to Bible study in the morning. So right after Bible study, I'm getting on. Because if I had some lag time in between Bible study and figuring out when I was going to do this, it wouldn't have happened. If I was like, oh, I'm going to go live at lunchtime or at 1 p.m. or at 7, then I would have every excuse in the world as to why I did not go live that day. So, and today it was a little bit of a challenge, but this is how I'm starting my morning. I'm setting the tone every single day. It's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. And like I was starting to say, today was one of those days where I was like, rolling out of bed. I didn't go to Bible study today. I like went to one last night. But that's still not an excuse. I still have my commitment to go live. So I was like rolling out of bed, but I was like, you know what? This is still happening because it has to. And I showed up, right? I had my marketing assistant create a thumbnail for me that I can edit myself. So I edited it. I was a couple minutes late, but I still got started, right? And here we are, and I'm feeling better. We're almost done with this live, and now I'm feeling better. Like when I first got on, I was getting acclimated, right? You could see that, but you just have to get started, right? And a big part of entrepreneurship is accountability. Entrepreneurship is like speaking a different language. If you are trying to communicate why you're working super late or waking up early or not spending your lunch breaks having lunch with your coworkers because you're working on your business, it might be hard for someone who is a 9 to 5er or a corporate worker to understand the sacrifice that you're making. And a lot of times, that accountability piece is something that we're searching for, but we can't find that in those people. We can't find that in those friends who are not entrepreneurs because they don't understand the grind for entrepreneurship and that entrepreneurship requires. So, a lot of times we're looking for accountability, a lot of times we're looking for community. And that's why, 6 years in as a consultant, 11 years as an entrepreneur, I am launching a community for women who are aspiring entrepreneurs, for women who are entrepreneurs, for women who are business owners, because again, that accountability piece lacks sometimes. And sometimes, in addition to accountability, we just need to talk to people that get it, right? Like, we need to be able to vent. We need to be able to bounce ideas off of other people. We need to be able to see the fruits, not always of our labor, but of others' labor, right? And maybe that's what's going to put the battery in your back, that's going to fire you up, that's going to inspire you to continue to keep going. Or maybe it will inspire you to finally get started. Everybody started somewhere. And if your story is going to be just starting this with this one cup, then that's what it's going to be. If your story is going to be just starting with this one notebook, and it would be the same process, right? To do this, right? Then that's what it's going to be. But maybe you need that push, and maybe you need to see that someone else did it, right? It's so um, hard sometimes to relate to entrepreneurs and creators online, because a lot of times they're showing you um, a printout of all these orders that came through, right? And I always say this, that um, you're probably not going to have your first $10,000 month the first month that you decide to go all in on entrepreneurship. I'm not being mean, it's just reality. I've been in this game for a while, and all those glitz and glamours that you see online, it's just not I guess the best way to say it is it's probably not what your reality is going to be. Um so I created this community because that's what I do. I create communities, right? And that's actually how Girl Boss came about, because during COVID in 2020, just so you know, I just became a full-time entrepreneur last year. So I had a nonprofit, and I also started my consulting business June of 2020. And I was helping business or entrepreneurs create LLCs, corporations, or nonprofits. And then I was also doing like a 3 month nonprofit academy, which was like a boot camp where you learned how to start your nonprofit from start to finish, and you would be grant ready to get your first grant, right? Um, and so much of my clientele were women, like the LLCs, the corporations, starting the new businesses, growing the nonprofits were women. And I was like, oh my goodness, the girls are bossing up. We're in a trying time right now. It's COVID. Um, a recession might be coming, all of these things, and the women were getting it done. So I was like, the girls are really, really bossing up. And that's where Girl Boss came from. So I put it on a t-shirt, and then, I went to the crew necks, and this is a one piece just for me. But I started hosting events and bringing women together. And the events were intimate. Um, there were 50 women, and there were brunches, right? And it was just such a great feeling to be in community, because where I live, there's not much of that. Um, But I've realized over time that it's just not in my community where there's a lack of that. So this space that I'm creating online is a monthly membership. That is a lower cost membership because I want it to be as excuse me accessible. But it's a community where you're going to be able to gather online with like-minded women. Whether you're just getting started, whether you've been like I said, in 2026, I had a nonprofit at that time for 5 years. Um, but I was solo dolo. I learned everything on my own. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm going to share that in the community. I made a lot of mistakes. And I had to overcome a lot of things because nobody gave me a blueprint. No one gave me a blueprint. Sorry, I can't talk today. Nobody gave me a blueprint. No one gave me a roadmap. And I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have any accountability partners. So I was just go, 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 going. And all of the lessons that I have learned, both good and bad, all of the wins, the highs, the lows, I've raised over $500,000 while working full time and part time, while running my nonprofit. Um, I'm going to be sharing all of these tips. So if you are interested in the community, drop a comment below. I'm also going to leave the link. Um, and it's time for us to really, really get started. And back to getting started. Um, this is day 3 of going live, and my chief of staff, she told me to go live like 3 months ago. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I hate going live. I'm not doing that. I don't go live. That's not my thing. Sometimes it's not your thing, and it's going to become your thing. You have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to do new things. It feels scary. It feels you'll have all the feelings in the world, right? It feels scary. It feels like unsafe. It feels like, am I going to succeed? Is anyone going to come on the live? Is anyone going to show up? You have to just stay in your purpose and realize that if you don't get started somewhere, you're not going to reach that end goal. And for me, I have had my YouTube channel really since last year because I started my podcast and then I didn't like the quality of the podcast. So I had to take a step back, and now I'm back. I was going to say how many months later, which I don't know. But so in the last 3 months of relaunching my podcast, and previously I think I only had like 4 episodes. But so for a month, I had a podcast for a month. So in the last 3 months of launching my podcast, I have invested in a videographer. Before someone else, I was bartering services with them, which bartering isn't bad, but this is just my experience. I invested in a videographer, and I don't really know how the YouTube metrics work, but I've had 8,800 views, not on a video, not on a video, but I guess on my channel. I don't know, but that's like almost 10,000 views. And it's exciting because I started from zero, right? 3 months ago, I only had like 20 subscribers. Now I only have 52, but like that's a big jump for me, right? It doesn't look like that 5,000 that I want, but you have to start somewhere, and it's always starting small. It's always starting with what you have, right? And now I'm on like episode like 17. And even in terms of starting these lives, right? I like I said, I started my morning a little late today, and it doesn't matter because I showed up. And just in these last 3 days, the level of productivity has gone through the roof. Yesterday, oh, I would show you my whiteboard, but it's erased a little bit. Yesterday, we went through just organizing and prioritizing what tasks you're going to conquer. And even for me, like getting up and fully starting my day at this time, which I will wake up and then go back to sleep. I just been up, right? And I've been super, super productive. And so I just got started so that I could give this information to other people, but it's helping me myself, right? So I'm excited to see what will the result of all of this be. So I hope you lock in with me. And they say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So we're going for a full 30. So Let me know in the comments if you're locking in with us. And you can even share a little bit about yourself and about your entrepreneurship journey or your business or what you are looking to do. And again, I'll leave the link for um, the community that's launching soon so you can get a little bit of an early access. All right. So happy Friday. I would say have a good weekend, but I'll see you tomorrow morning.